We are either, Karen or Spanish, we're all Spanish descent.
That counts.
Rather than people who stay,
Oh, yeah, that qualifies.
yeah. So,
Kirsten, you made it. Oh, wait. She tried. Where'd she go? There she is.
There you go.
Hello.
There's my. Very great.
yeah.
And that's the wonderful thing about this, right? I mean,
Everything they're not, I'm sure it's like the most terrible.
but it is,
It's my,
very few foods like that. All right, so we've got Fran and Kristen on Zoom. Sarah also said she might try to Zoom and forget where she said she.
She's on Zoom.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, I think we should go ahead and get started because it's 6:05 and expected on this time. Congrats. So, we're gonna meet order. Fran or Kirsten, can you guys hear us?
Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. It doesn't work as well in my office, but I'm glad it's working at least some.
We need a second call.
Do you know what? The costs? Just the other, because as I was working on the minutes, it's harder to hear in here, the recording, it's fine, it works, but it's not nearly as good. And if we get to the end of the year and I have money left in my budget, I might try.
Well, you don't have to get them used.
Oh, yeah, I could try that.
eBay or whatever.
So I'll also talk to the. See what they say, but. Yeah, I think it would be nice to have this. Be useful. So, all right, while we have a quorum here, did everyone get a copy of the minutes? And. Do, we want to have a chance to take a look. Any comments or questions? Somebody?
Oh. Park. I don't know.
I'm happy to move to approve the minutes. And I'm just gonna get started.
So I have this plan.
They're all good.
Maybe, no, all right. All in favor?
Hi.
Thank you. Awesome. I know, it's crazy. The commitment. Drive carefully. Hope this storm. Yeah.
Just speak to the chairman.
Dark there a little bit. All right, so first of all, we were chatting before, but I was away for more than half the time since our last meeting, so. I remembered last minute, put together a quick agenda. If there are things I forgot, we need to add them, please feel free, but, yeah, so.
You're using the AI digest, right? You have to activate it.
Oh, you know what? I have to be
On the last one, let me activate it. It does, especially since. When we're in my office.
I find from my workshops that you remember that if you want to amplify something that AI doesn't realize is more important, you just do, and you don't have to go through the hour and a half. It's a miracle. It's like completely.
It's very helpful, just, yeah, yes, great. Well, especially in when we're up here, I think because it's on Wi-Fi, wired, it'll be happen to, it's easy to review. It's not weird, I know what. that was just it, but. Anyway, so thank you for reminding me. So I think we should go ahead and just jump right in, because we've got the block party coming up June 20th, which is next. It's crazy, really soon. Kirsten, I have been I've emailed back and forth with Kirsten, and the staff at Philopolis will not be able to do the interactive whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, Kirsten, I don't know if you wanna say anything about that? Or I just shared your news, sorry.
Yeah, I think the news is the news. I'm so sorry about it, but the timing is really terrible.
What about, just other leads that you may know, or dance companies, or dance centers?
I guess the question,
Well,
I mean, there are a couple of guys who run an Argentine tango studio in Southbury, who I think are pretty awesome, but I don't know what they would do in a space that doesn't have a wood floor. You know, like the quality of floor is so important. That would be super fun, certainly, if there was a space that made sense, but I assume we're out on either grass or pavement, right?
Well, there's always a stage for the band. Oh, I'm thinking of the Harvest Festival.
yeah,
So for
but
June.
there's bands. Town hall.
They'll be set up.
Yeah, I mean, we could make sure we were on pavement, clean part of the parking lot, but you don't think that would work well?
Well, the band is playing the whole time, unless the parking lot is over by Marty's, I mean, that. Okay.
Yeah, that parking lot.
Okay.
So Lucy, at the last meeting, didn't you mention the line dancing?
I did, only because one of the tennis pros at Middlebury likes line dancing and brought up the line dancing facilitator that she knew for a different benefit.
Okay.
And knowing that that's a nice, it's a very participatory, easy.
Yeah.
To get around, you just know what to do to begin. It's like everything you do together.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see if those people that Kate mentioned would be available, and if not, I know that there's also a big line dancing place in like Brantford or something, and I could call and see if they had a portable version of their.
I think that would be really cool, cause I feel like from what I've seen and what we're living at, it'd be pretty easy to like jump in and jump out, right? Like if you short, each one, and then you like wait for the next. If you wanted to do it the whole time, great. Or just one. I love.
I feel.
So, yeah.
I do. You know, it's just age,
Right.
easy, it's great.
Yeah. Alright, so I think that would be great, and I think,
The first time I did line dancing was in Amsterdam.
no,
You would keep moving. Picture of the queen in this building, and we were starting going around, you know, and there was something tea and all that.
that is really fun. That is really.
It's different, and it's fun, and it's always happy.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Yeah.
And I feel like you'll call about that, that would be great. I wanna just.
And that would be that.
Yeah. So, find out about a tent. I'm gonna like just research a little bit, like a little bit bigger than the pop-up ones. Because it's a rain or shine event, and we're gonna actually have somebody come, like, right, I don't know. If it fits in our budget, which I think it really will.
Also, sometimes you can piggyback, right? So if somebody else is getting a tent. We can, you know, it's the same crew that's bringing the same thing and the rent will be.
Right.
So I don't know, maybe the WPA, no,
Yeah, I don't know if
maybe
they're,
people are having real tents.
The other thing is interesting, because if you're going to be renting another year, you think to have it. because
So
we're going to be using it.
I was thinking of larger, like, so I have a 10x10.
Yeah.
12x12 pop-up is not too bad. I have the 10x20 that we borrowed from the church last time. But I just don't feel like that's enough. Especially if you're gonna have music and you need to amplify it.
Yeah.
It needs to be covered,
And
like substantially, like I'm thinking
You
more
made
of
me
like.
bored. Because that was the thing last time, it's like, it was lovely that you brought it, but. Like the table, and we're right at the margins, so you just get. stuck
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, so. Yes, important.
You know. I mean.
What if you all, because I'm gonna talk to Jason too.
True, we could always put a 10x10 next to.
Yeah.
the page, you know.
That would normal.
Exactly,
Was that something?
right.
Could I ask quickly, just, that reminding the hours, just for when I call. And then also we're providing a sound system, or would they, or is there a sound system, or?
We
I
don't
can also figure out.
We can try to figure out, I might be able to borrow some, but if they have their own, because they do this, it's better for them to use their own equipment.
Yeah. I'll see what they can.
And yeah, we'll have to think about power,
Mhm.
figure that out, and we're set up. Hey Fran, will you remind me, is the block party 5:30 to 8, 6 to 8? Do you remember?
I don't remember the times, no.
I'll look it up, but it's either 5:30 to 8 or 6 to 8, in that, that. Listen,
I mean, I grew up with no limit.
all then,
I mean, within a 5, it should be till 9, because we make all our effort, we put the whole thing together. Then, some people leave, then we back up and go, but no, I think so, everything's fine. All nothing.
I know.
yeah, I hear you. I think that people just wanna end time for their employees, it's. Judy Black usually has a movie night, I have to double check to see. if that is- Right?
They
So once-
do have movie night on the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year it was 5:30 to 8.
But
Okay,
isn't
but
8
then-
o'clock the end of the band? Like my recollection for what I was paying my dancers is that they finished at 7. I feel like
Oh,
the band
7,
started at,
7?
well, I think the band started at 7 and so we closed up the
Oh.
other stuff.
Well, last year.
But-
Last year was, and last year downpour, so.
Right, that might also be why I ended paying them at 7.
Yeah. I feel like. It's a 6 to 8 is like the bulk of it, but 5:30 things are slowly getting started. I'll check. I'll double check to see what the band time is too. And again, we wouldn't have to offer the line dancing the full time. We could do 6 to 7:30, you know, like
Yeah,
the middle section or.
yeah, I'll see how they would price it, and
Yeah,
figure.
yeah, see what they say. And I feel like if we hire somebody to come in, we wanna make sure people know that it's happening.
Yes.
Is there a theme?
Not really, it's just a community event.
So we can-
I don't know that. Aaron, are you on the committee for the block party by any chance?
I'm not, but I think Liz is just convening that now. I don't think any firm plans have been made yet.
Okay, I'll check in with them. I know, I saw in the Parks and Rec minutes that Jen is getting the band, but I don't know who it is. So, but not that it matters. There's not really a theme. It's just. Yeah, outdoor fun. Yeah, I am too. Well, and if this comes together, which could be really fun, we should really talk to. Like that side of the Titus block with Zoe and Sotheby's.
Maybe they'll get on the chat.
Yeah, or like kind of just group it together, like. group it together. Like, but like, cause she often will set up outside of her store, even sometimes on the grass, but like,
So she's like doing lemonade and cookies
yeah,
and somebody likes to do ice cream, so.
yeah, we can just
Or
try to really,
people,
yeah, yeah.
usually it's where to be relaxed later.
Right, I
We
mean,
only have the people who park back there, they go back into the depot.
And the area that we're talking about is outside the pantry, or it's like by Titus? Just, it's right outside the pantry.
That's what.
or, yeah, we were actually between, we were in the, like, the, what's the right thing between like. And Depot, or Depot John. Would you do? Let people know.
Like the little from, the crosswalk to Marty's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which you can help spread it.
Yeah.
It's very clever.
Yes, town privacy, because not everybody, right.
Yeah.
So okay, that's great. No, that's fine. And that should be easy to promote with that too.
I think so, from one of those places, and we can close down the parking. Whether it's between buildings or if we move back towards the plant, we'll figure it out.
And the restaurant will be loading out at the same time, like they did last year, I remember that also, and oh my.
Because they were closing down, the moving.
So when like that first got, first of all, like, that's the kind of track, it's like. Down, so we're like, all right. It's like, yeah. That was great, formally for, so.
Yeah. Well, that's why I feel like the tent. And then if it does rain, we might be one of the few things still, right? And then community, otherwise, and if it's a beautiful night, then everybody comes and there'll be lots of it, we'll spread it out, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
all right, cool, this is great, we'll just be in communication. And, yeah, does anyone else have anything to add to the block party?
Mojito. You to help with the decoration, so we make it very carnival,
Fun.
festive, very festive.
Festive, I see. It's summer festive,
Yeah.
that's the idea, yeah.
With the music.
Oh,
Like, now, it's just like where people are there drinking, there is nothing there when we get from
it's great, and then until the line dancing starts, and then, right,
Yeah.
cause it'll be like right there. Yeah, I like it, I love it, I love it, I think that's.
One of the ways that was a block,
Yeah.
Amazing. Moving to John, but they took because it's everything started up, the mother used to say, he would play for me, and I would play, and she would stay, and then it was really romantic.
But perfect.
But it
Nice.
it's one back in one.
They were given, I think, already a special Tony specific to. I forget what it was called, but it was honoring the fact that it was like a docudrama brought to stage, I guess.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but yeah,
It's the whole thing.
yeah, they did, I mean, they wanted to make sure that it was
Yeah.
recognized for its.
Is that that's the video, and she did an incredible, because that theater is not that bad, the stage. And she was able to, on the little, but the class and dancing the rhythm and the sounds of the child, yeah, I can't help it, I started doing it over.
Well done, well done.
It's really fun.
Awesome, no.
All right, ready? We'll move on. We're good? And we will have a meeting before the June 20th May meeting, so we'll be able to just iron out any other.
This year, that it needs to be in. What's the name? Something about like,
Michelle?
something inside, postcards.
So,
I know that. CGS, yeah.
so what I asked them to put for you, because I have notes, I wrote notes.
It's just me by the night, but I will do it tomorrow. Like I said,
I asked them to put on what you did last year, except for the dates are June 9th and 22 instead of 10 and 23. You want something different?
that's perfect, we had talked about trying to submit something.
Well, I can't fit on this more.
Right. But on there, yeah, that's totally fine, we'll take it,
Okay,
you just.
okay. Let's, since you brought it up, before we go to this, this is the last year's and those are my notes, but we are trying to get to the purchase on Monday. This is the thing.
We'll take it,
You know, it's not, it's like, it's not for this size paper, but I thought they did. From last year's.
Yeah, sure, isn't happening, you know.
Yeah, it's just, but there's a lot of stuff happening that way.
Yeah.
There's concert for Steve Rocket at Spring Hill, it's more Spring Hill
Yeah.
and Shed so much. So that's the proposal, and what I like is, because the list was getting so long, they divided it out by months. Which I think is really helpful, we're still,
All summer.
yeah,
Summer, the only, and I don't wanna make anybody crazy, I think it's just, it is what it is, but we don't have any, we were recycling so many of the images from last year. Like three of them, you're right, three of them are the same.
Cycle.
so this one at the park, oh, that's. Oh, that is the thing. Oh, we have a different. This is new, that's new, that's new, so it's two, these two. I can ask them, I'm sure they have others. This one, I think, is just very accurately, and it's one of the best. Having the movement.
Is there, for the Kristen, and if this is, I imagine there's not budget, it's just throwing out there, only because. And when we'll eventually get to this with like the local district presentation, just thinking about assets or like photos that we can use. I don't know if there ever is an opportunity to send a photographer to any event, that would be nice to get like a ton of images of like happy kids, happy people listening to music, happy people dancing. So if the block party would be placed together with sales for the year ahead.
You know what's interesting? We talked about this, I've talked with Julia, who is the person tonight Explorer. You know, she keeps begging me to find money in the budget to hire somebody. That was why we ran the first photo contest, to try to get it for free. But we might have somebody, and well. Block party's June 28th, yeah, because we have our budget is until July 1. And if we have any money left, and if you see, like, EC could also, we could share that, and use the pictures for Explore, or for promotional, or for the cultural district, I think that would be a great idea.
Would Rick Giles be good at a reduced fee?
Maybe.
It's not impossible.
Oh, yeah, this will be done, so he,
Right.
yeah, okay.
And then we can do his copyright if that's good, because.
And he does, I know, because he does school, like he's good at the. Capturing that, but you know, not. Landscape. A friend of ours, Rick Giles, who's the photographer for Canterbury. And it's local. So, yeah, that's a great idea, and I think the block party is a perfect. Because you can get crowd scenes, you can get people in front of all the different stores, like I'm gonna give them a list of things.
Yeah.
You're right, it is
Yes.
like, assuming,
Please.
yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah.
In fact, I could grant something 6 months ago. But.
Here we go.
Never a problem.
Yeah.
I know, it's not, it's a bar. It's tough, I mean, we could get. It's right, the tenth business, totally. All right.
It's very strong. People really didn't know what they were reading.
So I didn't have the summer postcard on the agenda, I'm glad you brought that up. So last call for events. Because the printer, in order to get in the mailboxes for Memorial Day, they are going on vacation. I thought I had it till Wednesday, Tuesday maybe at the latest, so. Last call. There are a few others. I think it's just an all summer.
The kids were doing. Wish they showed. them.
Yeah, I think kids with no faces is.
Well, I wish we saw art.
I don't know, that, I guess.
What they were doing. Well, you could have been like turned around and was.
Right.
Not necessarily the faces. But this just, yeah, it's like.
I don't know, Julia and I've been emailing like 5 times a day since I got. To try to nail down all these things, I've been trying to reach out to like the different restaurants that have music, and are you still doing it this summer? Or no, so. Yeah, you know, anything that's on the Explore calendar this year, but.
Michelle,
Yeah,
what's the end date on events that are included?
so we. Have September in there, so we added, because so many organizations moved to September, so we have like
Yeah.
August, September.
Okay, can you post the document? Cause I think we changed a date of something and I can't remember when we changed it. In
Okay.
September.
I will share our draft.
With all the council.
With everybody, with what we have so far. Actually, mine isn't even up to date, like we keep changing it continuously.
Yeah.
So, you know what, is Explore accurate?
You know, I need to check since I have somebody else who does it now. I don't look at it quite as attentively.
Okay.
And so I'll verify that tonight. And if it's missing, I will quickly get it. in
Okay,
there.
and if you send any corrections, if you could just CC me, because we've got, just so we've, it's been
Yeah.
going back and forth, and we've been updating, and if Explore is correct, it should be correct, they're really good about
Yeah.
that, but just so I can double check.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, thank you. Yeah, make sure, and having it on Explore is just the easiest. Yeah. I would- correct. Alright. Cool. Are we ready to move on? Next up, Deep Rock Photo. I have a contest, it's an exhibition, sorry. That was just. Too fast. I met with, Denise this afternoon. And she completely understood what we said about, like not setting up a whole art show in a tent for a picnic. And, also understood the run-up time thing that we talked about, and thought October is great. She said their actual 100th birthday is either October 13th or 15th, so it's really close to the date. Perfect. So Denise and I are just gonna be in contact with each other. I need to now just verify town hall, and then conflicts, I've gotta get the racks and all that stuff, so there's a lot of that to work out. I pulled so many pictures from the last one. She loved the idea of bringing them to the picnic as part of the promotion for participating in the event, which is great. And we talked a lot about.
Very physical.
These, yeah, we'll just bring them, and by then we'll have a new, well, that's September sixth, which will be close to kind of like the closing of the photography, you know, like last fall, kind of, or last 2 weeks, which is great. So we're gonna nail down like the date and some of the specifics and then start working on the flyer so we can start getting the word out. We had a lot of conversation about the theme, like, because, and I shared the ideas from last time, she and I talked about their kind of motto or theme for the year that's in their, it's not their Vista, it's their impact, like, year end. It was called Protecting What You Love. We had around what Steve Rock means to me, a Valentine's Steve Rock. I don't really Steve Rock, I couldn't understand what we were talking about with people, I wasn't really sure. Why, as Denise and I were brainstorming, we said why we love Steve Rock, celebrating 100 years of Steve Rock. Show us what you love about Steve Rock. So there's a lot of, I think, let's think about a good.
How much food down? You don't think time to, not the excitement.
Well, I think one thing that Denise and I spoke about and we had all talked about is trying. You know, encouraging not just landscapes, but like family hikes or, you know, people in Steep Rock as well. But that's kind of hard, you know, we were just trying to think of ways to kind of, I don't know about inspire, but like action words that would lend themselves to photography. So I don't know if Smell does.
And is this for the call to participate or for the title of the exhibition or both?
Both, I guess.
There's something nice about having here's the title of the show, because a lot of people who see it won't know what the contest is about. So I think from the exhibition standpoint, having something about a centenary might be work, but then of course for all participants, maybe it can emphasize people or something.
Yeah, we also spoke about, so logistically last time, like, you submitted digitally, there was an online form. There was a release allowing us to use the artwork. And there were some instructions and we can put like some sort of examples or fine print that don't have to be on the flyer about encouraging, you know.
The other thing I like about what Steve Rock means to me is that it can be, an image can be 1,000 words, but also it can invite people to do a little storytelling, like give it, have a caption, and I think that's gonna be better for everybody, and it's very open-ended theme. People who don't like to write don't have to, but I think that
Means to me, there's, or
100 years.
celebrate the centennial or
Yes.
something.
happy birthday, you know.
So they have a centennial logo and I will work with their people for the flyer, like we'll kind of co-brand the Arts Council of Steve Rock.
Were they want us to say the theme, or do we say the theme and they give us a final veto, but like.
So Denise did ask that we share with that, like, just to make sure.
What did you run by her, what age, like that?
Yeah, she did.
So why don't we have an agreement tonight?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like determining the theme.
What Steve Rock means to me, sounds good to me, and she wanted to share it with Ryan just to make sure, but
Well, I mean, from our side.
yeah. And it's up to you guys.
Yeah. I like the font you built into it. That. Follow.
Brian, do you have thoughts about the name of the theme? Can you hear us?
I
The
feel like,
Funko.
yeah,
Go ahead, Kirsten.
I don't know, it seems to me like it's more about how Steep Rock feels about it, so.
Yeah.
She thought what Steve Rock means to me worked, she wanted to just run it by Ryan.
Yeah.
But if that feels like,
But you gave her 5, so I just.
yeah, I gave her, but, and then Denise and I were just kind of, we threw out some more. talk to you all. Fran, what were you gonna say?
No, I just wanted to comment that for whatever reason, it's probably my computer, but the audio is not very clear.
Sorry, we're in my office. I need to get a microphone for my computer because we're just working with my laptop.
No, that's fine, but if I sort of look puzzled or whatever, that's why.
Okay,
I would note in particular, when Abdo talks, we can't hear him because he's facing away from the microphone.
Right, can't hear him.
okay. So when we talk, we're gonna talk to the laptop and a little louder. Which
Okay, so what I was thinking. When we have the photograph. Is Palestine as a take a memory of the people home with you.
Take.
Encouraging people to buy them.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna do the same selling thing as we did before.
And he's one of the, so we can all put in the back, and the year and all that, and that's it.
But this year, this time, we wouldn't benefit, right? The artist would either benefit and Steve Brown would benefit and.
You know, I ran that by Denise. I told her how we did it last year, gave the. No, and she said, no, it should go to the Arts Council, and I did say, I was like, last time we were hoping. That the proceeds would just cover the cost of producing, and it actually did cover that and a little more. And she thought that was fine. I don't know if she needs to run that, but she.
That's great.
Like, I said, oh, we split it, she didn't seem too concerned about that. Well, and.
I mean, first like 500, I was like. 35% of our budget, and for that it's like a rounding error.
Exactly. And.
So, if they can be gracious about that, I think there would be a big difference, because.
Yeah, and one thing we talked about, I said, we're not really running it as a contest per se, except that we're only going to develop. However, I have to look back at how many their wax hold, but I think it was around 50, it was like 48 to 50. But she said that they could possibly offer as like a prize, a photograph could be chosen to be the cover of their next publication, or to be used on their website or something.
I think it should be like the last time for like, yes, I mean.
Yes.
And I think it should be presented as an opportunity for the photographers, like.
Well, that's
It's massive distribution,
yeah, so that's kind of what she was thinking, is that just an incentive to
Yeah.
really be featured somewhere in their publications. And I told her, and we'll review this, I did not pull out my folder of all that stuff, but. The sign off that we had last time. Said that we had the explore, that we had the rights to use it, and we would give those rights to people as well. So that they could use the images in the application, and that they will always be credited the photographer.
you've done all the hard lifting that you like, just. cut and paste. So,
Yeah, so this sounds to me like it's a run, it's a go. I'll get some dates together, I'll pull my folder up from last year and start figuring out what we can. Last year, it was Julia and Explore set up the Google form, which I have not ever done, you figure it out.
Okay,
Yeah?
yeah. Yes.
Cool. That is very cool. Because, and all of the photos were uploaded to these folders, Google folders. Yeah, it was great. It worked so well. I have them developed in mail them back. Beautiful. But I had never done any of that myself. I'm sure Julia will help me figure it. I don't think they need to be the clearing for it. She will. I don't know. So, yeah. The developing was unbelievable.
You
Yeah.
gained it out really. Like, you got the map, got everything.
It wasn't, and actually, yeah, so, we'll have 2 more meetings before the close of our budget. So if there's money left, I'm gonna pre-buy everything, you know, that I can. The developing will have to go on next year's, but. Oh, so the town budget meeting is the 15th, May, next Thursday. 7:30, I think. Yes, and it is. It's the town budget, and yet there isn't much, there were supposed to be a few other things on there and there weren't, but we should all know is vote for it. I think it's 7:30. I think, yeah, I think so, I have to look.
Well, I don't know, when they.
Yes, I wouldn't worry about it, and none of the commissions have been challenged at all, so I don't anticipate. Well, it doesn't matter, actually, they can't really change it, it's a yes or no. Don't worry about it.
Last year, you did one.
Yes, well, because we were really under the gun, it definitely was, and we had asked for a pretty significant increase, and it was a new council, I wasn't sure. You just never know, people come out of the woodwork to, you just never know. This year, from what I've heard, none of that has really been challenged. The big kind of hot item is a big another large chunk of money, like we got 250,000 for the affordable housing fund. So that will probably draw more conversation than our study. Yeah. Yeah. The jar.
We talked about this, like, I want to, I'm annoyed that we didn't, I didn't, think about nominating somebody in the arts, I mean, for the town thing.
Renee.
Sharon got nominated,
No, Jaworski, how, and doing, from Flawless.
got nominated.
Yeah, no, she's one of the, she's, you know, they have.
She won. She was the state arts hero this year from Litchfield.
Today, I just. Focus
For what?
for volunteer of the town. Last year,
Oh.
we. Like the other people in the arts, like for instance, Sarah Griswold is incredible, like she's done so much as a volunteer for so many institutions for decades. And I just think in our annual calendar, you know, like the budget meeting, the, you know, for the.
Yeah, Stephen Wright.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good thinking. Talk to me after.
Okay, great.
Yeah, Kirsten, that's so exciting about Renee, though, I saw that for the newsletter that I'm working on, and so that's great.
Yeah,
Washington, again, right?
it's our 3rd one.
Yeah,
That's pretty awesome. So it's down, it's not a nominee, like she got it. It's got.
yeah, but I think, aren't there, it's not.
It's up to 3 for the 13th state or something.
Yeah, it's like it's like regional, and she's our region one, right?
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Yeah. So she's the Northwest Connecticut Arts Council director, and then I think there's 4 or 5, there's a New Haven Regional Arts Council and like a Southwest Connecticut, and I think there's 2 on the eastern side of the state. And maybe Hartford has them, so.
You can nominate the state and everybody can nominate a certain number, and then the state picks, you know, the mix, like, you know, it's age, it's demographic, it's medium,
Yeah.
it's whatever, and so,
But
yeah, awesome.
yeah,
That's great.
yeah,
Great.
one of it is, which is really exciting. Yeah.
And while we're also talking about recognition, is this okay for me to bring up as new business? Another topic that's been talked about before,
Sure.
is, I was in a town today in upstate New York, and they have this thing that I love on the street, of hometown heroes and, you know, on the lighting, you know, we talked about this for the winter.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
you can get- No, I'm thinking about just again, like gearing up for next year. And I'm wondering, like the printer that we would use, et cetera, like it would be so nice if they were up for like the holiday through, we talked about until there's hanging plants. So
Right.
like it could be every year.
Contingent, these are blade signs that would go on lampposts and highlight local people. You'll often see them for like veterans in a certain town, and so they're just highlighted with a photo and the name of the person and go.
We talked about it at an art council before, and it's on my list, I keep forgetting, I was gonna talk to Jim. We've never done anything like that, and we need the town's permission, but yeah.
And then it should be all artists, and it should be outstanding citizens, and if we can lead the charge on it, and I'd like there to be, you know, a range of, you know. Amazing volunteers and leaders and veterans and whatever, and like, you know, in Hudson, New York, they just call them hometown heroes, and I think it is largely veterans, and maybe they change them for Veterans Day or I don't know what. But given that it's the holidays and it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like the annual yearbook or something, I thought that would be just really nice, and I don't know, maybe most people do that, it might be like 10 a year or 15
Yeah.
a year.
That's interesting, at first, it's just, I need to. Float the idea of the lamppost banners, we had talked about promoting. The 3 like townwide events or something. I think I like the idea of hometown heroes, and we can just see where that goes,
Well,
it
they
can
can
also
also
be, it can also be a little.
Well, what I was thinking to make it not fraud, is that every commission. That's be one of their jobs, they nominate 2 people, and that's their thing, you know, like, we can just make, but we can lead the charge of having like. It nicely graphically designed and have a standard format, and maybe we have a little web page of like, who are the hometown heroes for 2025. And it's a, you know, like, that's something that, you know, writing wise, graphics wise, and it becomes, you know, a contribution that becomes part of our budget. And also I think it's a nice way for the arts to engage with the other commissions. Because I think still there's some people like, oh, we're just the airy fairy, like, you know. Extra, but this really adds to the fabric of the town. I'm always trying to think about ways that, you know, we do events that everybody can participate in and not, I mean, like, I love the idea of Argentine tango dancers, but that's more like a spectacle versus a community engagement, so I'm really excited about the line dancing. But in the same way, I would like the public art things we do is we are already doing, but
Yeah.
like that they would be appreciated by everybody and accessible to everybody. You don't have to walk into an institution to appreciate them.
Right, yeah, no, I like that idea, let me,
Yeah, appreciate that.
you don't have to wait, what?
Until they're dead. to
Oh, right.
Make a point that it's people who are alive, well, that's more controversial, it's easier when they're dead.
Yes.
You know, you read the article, and you say, why do we don't know about this place?
I agree so much.
Period.
I what you're saying.
It can be anybody.
Yes.
Agreed. Well, and Stephen writes awards that our town, awards every year. Almost never is a military person, it's somebody who serves the community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's such a positive thought, especially in these days that we're living. Where good news is important.
Yes. Yeah.
People who are good people.
Well, and to Abdu's point, maybe it is maybe part of our mission too is to celebrate the living, because then you meet them in a different way, you engage, you know, we're all about engagement and celebrating, so. Like you see their picture, and it's like, oh, you were the art teacher, been doing this for 30 years.
You're making somebody happy, the community happy, it's a win-win situation.
Yeah,
It's just happiness, it's love, it's appreciation,
yeah.
you know.
Well, I thought you'd also like it because I know you're really into science, so we. I think the new business I wanted to make sure we heard from was Fran, and the poetry month. Do you wanna talk
Um,
about, or that's not really so much your project?
I mean, Poetry Month, I think, I mean, you know, was a huge success. There were poems, throughout the depot. New Preston wasn't as actively involved, and I'm not quite sure why. I mean, we have to figure that out. But, we've already started talking about next year. And the next year, the idea is that the poems will be original poetry. And going to the schools, I mean, going to all the segments of the community and alerting them to it and just beginning to gather it. But it was just, it was nice to see people strolling, people commented on it. Some people still have their poems up, now trying to encourage them to take them down because it's over. But I'd be interested in hearing your comments on it.
Well, I just thought it was fantastic, and I'm so glad that in short order you made it happen, you and your, task group, it's awesome.
Well, enormous amount of credit goes to Audra McLaren at the library because she took the initiative in terms of the makerspace to be able to produce the poems on, the stock that they were on, also the buttons. And she was I mean, the collaboration was fantastic.
Awesome.
It was great. I loved it. I thought it was, there was a lot in, like you said, in the depot, poetry all around. I would love, I don't know, somehow for there to be, whether it's a sandwich board that goes in the middle of the depot with the logo or something, just sort of some visual that ties it together or makes people aware. But
I agree.
that's, for next time, because I feel like maybe a lot of people didn't really weren't aware, or maybe we can write an article about it for a newsletter or
Yeah, well,
a selectmen's email.
Maybe next year, I mean, they aren't that expensive, get lawn signs. So people know to look at them, or it means it obvious stuff in the windows, I don't know.
The constituency will be much broader next year, which by itself, I mean, if we're talking about all the schools participating, so you're reaching the parents, you're reaching, a much broader, but, obviously it does need to have a much broader reach than it did this year. But the fact that it happened, we're quite pleased about.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was great. And it'll just grow and improve. And I think, that it might be the kind of thing that the Arts Council could help, whether it's, I could see us actually doing a postcard with the logo on one side and then all of the live events, the poetry readings, the whatever. Yeah, that are happening, and actually doing a mailing of some sort or a handout, a leave behind postcard, something like
And
that.
again, hopefully those will be planned. I mean, those were being planned throughout the month. So next year, hopefully there will be a calendar of them that are available for April 1st, rather than the ad hoc additions that occurred this year, but they happened.
Right. Yeah.
And since people are reading them face to face, the idea is also to give people insight into the kind of overarching project. A QR can also be a nice way to do that, since people are, by virtue of reading the poem, going to be face to face with the poster. And so that's a simple way to kind of like simple call to action, like learn more about poetry in Washington or something. If the idea is to redirect to learn about how poetry is celebrated. So
I guess we could establish that we didn't have a established for that, but we probably could either on the Arts Council or on Explore.
So who sponsored it this year? Was it a joint project of you and
With
the
the library.
library, or?
It was a joint effort between the library and the WBA. And there was a financial contribution from Sotheby's.
Thanks. Great. Well, that's.
What's the budget for next year? Do you know?
I'm sorry.
Have you guys, in the early days, I was just curious, have you settled on a budget for next year?
No, we've just begun to talk about it.
Okay.
I mean, actually, the expenditure was relatively small this year. It was really materials. A big expense was, Explore Washington. Or
I'm sorry.
Sandor Max was the significant expense.
And for next year, there was some talk about wanting to do an anthology of all those who won or submitted, or is that still part of the vision?
You know, April 30th was only 6 days ago or whatever it was. I mean, we'll be soliciting ideas, so by all means, make recommendations or questions because we just had a meeting the end of April and so, I mean, it's all open.
Totally, I just did the conversations I had, made it sound like you really had worked it out, so all good, just wanted to know what you knew so far.
Great.
As I said before, understanding all of you is very difficult.
Oh, right, right. Yes.
All right, I think we should move on to, we've got the cultural district on the agenda and we actually have something. And I am so sorry for Fran and Kirsten, I would be able to share this if we weren't working on my laptop.
Yeah, I'm
I might
actually,
be able to pull it, I might be able to pull it up, but I had a meeting with Lucy and yeah, she's amazing. And she put together the beginning, or like, I sort of printed out. You're welcome. And I will, just hold up, the beginnings of a
yeah, I'm
slideshow.
gonna actually sign off now. And
Okay.
I'll catch
Yeah,
up on.
we're gonna talk about the cultural district for a little bit and I'll fill you in.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Take care, good night, Fran.
Bye.
Fran.
Hi, friends.
Yeah, so we talked a lot about what the cultural district is, what we need to do. And the first thing is the public hearing, actually, and I haven't had a chance to look at the kind of the order again, but because we had to have a public hearing, Board of Selectmen has to pass a resolution, and then the application goes to the state. Those are like the three things, and the Board of Selectmen and the public hearing, I'm not sure which, but it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So we'll have to figure out which comes first on that. So super exciting. I'm gonna like awesome. So yeah.
So it's top to bottom, yeah.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, yeah, so it goes top to bottom, left, right.
And then next page.
Next page.
Great, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. And so obviously the highlighted things are things that we need to fill in. Mostly dealing kind of with dates and stuff. And I have not had a chance to read through every, like I skimmed it.
Oh, that's totally fine.
But so I think maybe what we should do is take it home and I can share, it's in the Google folder, the Arts Council Google.
I don't even know if there was access to it.
I don't think so, because of the verification, or I was trying to get it there, but I just do it there. We can do that. So I will share this with everybody.
Make sure that you're.
Cool. That's so, because I shared the folder to you.
Yes, I made this
But
document.
you made this document, so I can't share.
But I think you can skip that.
Make an editor.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you've got it.
Okay. Awesome. So, yeah, so what we should do is that everybody kind of take a look, see if there are things that, questions, make sure we're like telling the story the way we want it to. I will look the information from the Northwest Iowa Council on how to do this and the legislature to make sure we kind of covered everything, but I feel like you really did, like you really captured it, the sort of beginning to end of why we should do this, what it is. Did you have a question?
No, I think one thing that I think the hardest part was with assets, photos, and so if there is like a folder floating with some photos, that would probably just swap them in, but as far as like a placeholder, like right now, placeholders in there, that's really it. And in whatever way this is useful to feed into the actual application itself, just let me know, because I can, work on it as well.
Awesome, thank you. We just FYI, we don't have a folder with any kind of photos. I have all the ones from the context, but they're mostly nature.
Okay.
So, like they're not any of these. But.
The organization itself
But
probably
they do.
shows.
So, but I flex it.
Yeah.
All of these.
Yeah.
So we can just have,
Perfect.
so we should just decide. Just if we put
Yeah.
together a list of what we do.
Like, best picture, most seen picture on the Blavo site.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we have Kirsten here, so she, like, we have contacts in all of these organizations, so we can get whatever we really feel.
A picture. Jacket, I work in Venice, people. And I have Carmen Miranda. Have made out of bones that were done with it.
Oh, this is your mojito picture, yes, I've seen that.
It's on the wall. It is amazing, it's really pretty.
Okay, that's perfect.
So that is it, I was like, yeah.
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 Thank you.
So what them to do?
Do the photo. You can send it to me.
Well, she's on our circulation list,
I'm
so.
on the email list.
Yeah.
You, yeah.
It was great, and it would be perfect actually for this, because it was used. Like almost over for like a year, like Ron used it on every flyer, Explorer picked it up, it was like, it was kind of.
It's on the wall. Right?
Okay.
That's the perpetual, Washington,
Yeah,
Washington.
it's in the museum,
In the museum.
it's in the museum, yeah, it's in the museum.
Yeah.
But. You know, when we're talking about the cultural district and some of the spaces, like that was a party that was out in the front lawn, right?
I'm coming to the door from the wall. And this photograph.
Okay, but wasn't it for the party?
Yeah,
That was here, right? And this is what we're explaining.
Yeah.
Things happen here. Yes. So I think that's great. Just showing.
it's very, it's a, you know, because it's kind of the government, you know, here I am coming out with a quote unquote Carmen Miranda hat. From Balloon. You know, to put it in the free. I mean,
It's awesome. Thank you.
So, yeah,
and
yeah.
velvet jacket, all in velvet, with painted roosters.
It was something, it was awesome. So, what I think we should do, you guys have a copy of this, I will share with the rest. Okay, great. So ideas for pictures, any of that, I will try for our next meeting to see if I can finish or close to finish the map with the assets that we have listed. so that we can look at it and decide if I've missed any, right? And kind of work on these dates. That's really kind of it, is like finishing the assets, figuring out the date, getting the wording for the resolution.
Right.
Which, you know, those samples.
How do we benefit if we have a step? What would happen?
Yes.
Well, there's a slide for that. Right? I remember reading that, right? How does it help Washington? So turn the page. Reading. So it helps Washington by promoting supporting local artists, celebrating the town's unique characters, strengthening small businesses, attracting funding, visitors, and new partnerships. That was great. Which I think the Northwest, like some of that was like, the stuff that they kind of shared with us as to why when mixing us, we should do it. So, I mean, if there's anything else we should add, but. And then you got the important part, remember that, talking about the fact that it is not something and that it's not regulatory, which is great, that was really. Yeah. So,
Oh, this is better to do it.
well, been saying that for a while, we just haven't figured out how to get it across the finish line. So, thank you, Lucy, for this, and I think, yeah, we should all just give it a few minutes and we'll try to move forward to the next.
I mean, I just like it, it's simple, clear, straightforward, it's, you know, non-alarming, only positive, it's, I think it fits the bill. And, you know, the application is the next fair, but it's.
Yeah, and the thing is. Yeah. I mean, it is or it isn't. I mean, because the requirements of it, oh, this reminds me, so, which we may or may not want to include, may want to make it like it give it its own slide. Because the council members. You know, in order to satisfy the legislation, we have to have the minimum of like a business owner or whatever, so. We might want to have. Like, not necessarily the full bio, but at least enough to say.
Yeah.
So we know that all boxes have been checked. It doesn't have to necessarily be in the presentation, but it needs to be in the application, so might as well.
This reminds me, we have bios for both Sarah and Lucy, were they sent to Amanda?
No, so
If he updates our website.
right, I was just looking at it and I was going to send them to her, but I didn't have them in the same place and she like. One look at it, and there's some stuff, there was like a bunch of stuff that I noticed and then I didn't get back to it.
And because everybody's a volunteer, one thought that occurs to me that might be nice is we might honor the service of those who have already completed. Like that woman who started off, but she only started for like 6 months. And then, you know, Chris is completed, but, it'd be nice to honor his service. By just saying like, you know, serve from these days to these dates or whatever.
Thinking of where that, I
Or just like the
understand.
bios and then just have a, I don't know.
Yeah,
some kind of-
or at least, at the very least on our website. Well, it's actually pretty good. Oh, okay. Okay.
But the train of thought was, we have to ask them anybody to update things rather than like deleting somebody who was. Do,
Put their term.
yeah,
And just,
yeah.
and just move them.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that, yeah.
I think that'd be
Yeah.
nice, and also again, it just shows like how many people that have public council, that were young, you know, and I think that also just. Demonstrates to the town that, well, you know, it's not just like, oh, these 8 people running amok. It's like, it's actually 10 people running.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Because that service shows.
You just have to move it to a different, you know, so.
Yeah, just them down. I think that's a great idea. And I did think about it and noticed it and then didn't follow up on that, so.
Yours is fine. application.
And I have a newsletter deadline today and I didn't. Tomorrow, there. This.
Yeah.
Just play catch up. So that's okay, that's okay. This is not going anywhere, get done. Which next week. Great, so we'll keep plugging forward.
Feel free to make any edits in the doc or send me anything that.
I feel like, and myself included, like. If there are comments, why don't you just email them to you, like, how about you only edit? them? Otherwise, generally, easy,
Yeah.
so.
If this is less than more, I think.
Yeah.
This should be a 5-minute presentation, but they already, that's what this is.
Yeah.
And I feel like, with the exception of what she suggested, which is like, you have to demonstrate to the counselors.
Yeah, I can say it is.
That's it.
And what is the deadline?
There's no deadline.
Well, we need this, we need to petition or request, how do we request a date
For what?
for this hearing?
For the hearing? Well, so the hearing,
Could it be one of our?
it can be our meeting. We can make our meeting a hearing, or we could make the selectmen's meeting a hearing, I think. They might not want to because they don't have long meetings, but. So I'll
Can you troubleshoot that?
yeah, we'll figure out, because they need to pass a resolution, so it almost. I don't know which comes first, because I feel like it might kind of almost need to give the presentation twice, like once with them. And once at the hearing.
So selectmen first probably, and then.
Because then they have to pass the resolution, but I'll ask them if they.
Public input, selectmen vote, but that's because I think those were just when we talked about that, like the public hearing almost away first, ensure that the selectmen don't say, well, should we wait until the public hearing, like it puts.
Right,
puts-
yeah.
The date was the. Features, it tells you.
But and we
Yeah.
did that,
Okay.
and it is a little confusing.
It just says all of these things need to need to.
That first, but.
Yeah, so we got some good stuff, which by the way.
Yeah.
Remember, never mind, I was gonna. Set up a meeting. Also, you need this information to look at? Oh, whenever.
Before the next meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
After I can bring in a second, do you mind communicating to Linda, or do you want me to do that about the IRS?
I don't mind doing
You
that.
don't mind, because
Yeah.
you deal with her a lot.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
I,
I need probably think that you're up to big things, okay,
that's okay.
but you have Sarah as well, file as well.
Like, that was the thing, like, I had her use these, I think, and she sent it, but it was in an email. And I was trying to.
Okay.
Find the email, like I was CC'd on it, and like, it's like open on my computer. And that's kind of where I, like, I was gonna get this all to Amanda, but it wasn't all in the same place.
The issue was just getting into the format, and they're all pretty standard.
Yeah, so I will get that over to Amanda. And then we'll use those for the application. And yeah, we'll, you know, the resolution, so, and I'll talk to the selectmen about how they would. Yeah, I think we should probably do the hearing. I think you're right, we should talk about that at one of our meetings, and we'll try to invite, like. People, we'll make sure it's on a night where we can use the downstairs. So we're not working off my laptop. Yeah.
So what? Is there any reason they would deny? No,
I don't think
I
so,
don't think.
I don't think so, again, you never know, but I
What
don't.
is the answer? The plan.
So Michelle very helpfully did have a whole successful application from another town, and if that passed, we can do the same thing.
Step four said that if, as long as you hit all the criteria on the checklist, and it's a very clear checklist, or clear not checklist, we're gonna get. If they just want you to cover certain bases in the states.
So I was confused on your question, I thought you were asking about the selectmen, and I've already loaded it with Jim and he seems fine with it, but I don't know if he really understood what it was. But the state, the big question is whether they're gonna let us I think. They have to do the green.
The green, yeah.
If they'll let us keep the green, we have the depot and the green as one district. I think worst case scenario is they'll say, you know what, that's not really walkable, there's not a sidewalk, why don't you just make it two?
Oh, 2 districts.
Which other towns have done, I just feel like I don't wanna do 2 applications, so let's just. We'll chat, and you say.
Cause again, the application that you showed me though, does show, it's actually almost exactly the same in terms of distance between these 2 discrete areas, one's a historic district, the other's a business district. And they have like a long walking path in between, so it's actually almost.
There's some
the same.
precedent.
Yeah.
Is that Litchfield?
But that sounds right.
And I think they were the first application too. Yeah,
Super.
and many have done it since, New Milford's in the process, Torrington's got it,
Oh.
Oh, yeah, no, we checked all the boxes, we just gotta, you know, yeah. The only question is the whole green thing, and I think it's just, we can talk about this, we'll start on the green and walk downhill.
Yeah.
Instead of making them walk uphill, hopefully everyone's able bodied.
Gentle flow. Yeah.
That is no. We did not have been
Which that's so close. Wait, what? You got no list.
Ripped his dignity, and it was from. Reps. Ugly.
But he was okay, did like, okay, like.
The whole thing, maybe it was knocked over, yeah, we were right. That was one thing, let's okay. That's all recorded.
The official record, excellent.